My rhetorical analysis is based on Logan Frick's review of Clue from 1985.
Clue is a movie about 6 people who all have secrets and are being blackmailed because of them. They are all locked up in a mansion and need to find out who is blackmailing them and why. Each of the guests is given a weapon, and throughout the movie, the people in the mansion are getting murdered. But who is murdering them? With what weapon? And in what room? Intended audience can be anyone who understands murdering and blackmailing someone is completely wrong. Also, anyone can read this review if they appreciate mysteries and dark humor. What's very interesting about the movie is that it doesn't showcase actual murder, but mainly focuses on the effect of the murders themselves. I think most people agree with the reviewer that while the movie is very entertaining and is filled with a lot of sarcastic and dark comedy, towards the end it extends the climax for far too long. Instead of informing us who committed the murders, it gives us 3 detailed possible scenarios, with the last one being what really happened. Now let's talk about different appeals the writer uses throughout the reviews. Let's talk about the different forms of appeals. Ethos is an appeal to ethics, and it is a means of convincing someone of the character or the credibility of the persuader. Pathos is an appeal to emotion and is a way of convincing an audience of an argument by creating an emotional response. And logos is an appeal to logic and is a way of persuading an audience by reason. The reviewer uses pathos to describe how he was intrigued about the movie and how throughout the movie there was no main character in the film. The reviewer also uses ethos to rely how difficult it must have been for the director, Jonathan Lynn, to film the movie when the characters are exploring the mansion, searching for clues, all the while being in different rooms and rushing over to a new location whenever a new person dies. The reviewer uses the appeals of logos when he goes into details about when the board game was created in 1949 and how it was first launched by a UK company named Waldingtons. In the US, it was released by the Parker Brothers. It was first named Cluedo and later changed to Clue. It was a Paramount film production and it was directed by Jonathan Lynn. I think the author did an amazing job reviewing the movie Clue, especially considering the wide range of characters in the movie and how quickly the movie progressed. I especially enjoyed how the reviewer included some dialogue from the film, which made the reader form a connection with the characters in the movie.
Such lines as Mrs. White stating, "Husbands should be like Kleenex, soft, strong, and disposable."
By doing this, the reviewer really brought the characters to life and was sarcastically witty and comical. I also believe that by the reviewer relating some of the scenes to the audience, he was very successful in holding our attention. I was particularly entertained when the reviewer described the scene where a police officer shows up at the mansion and the house guests pretend to be having a party. All the while, a dead man is lying on the couch, appearing to be drunk, and Mrs. White is making out with another corpse.
There are only a few things I would change from the review. During the reading of it, some things were hard to follow if you hadn't seen the movie. Let's take a look at the following passage from the review. Mr. Body, a former cook for Mrs. Peacock, a war vet with Colonel Mustard motorist, a vet who had an affair with Mrs. White's husband, a bride by Mrs. Scarlet police officer, and a young lady who had an affair with her therapist, Professor Plum, are then killed so their partners couldn't be blackmailed anymore. Now let's take a look at another way this could have possibly been written. Throughout the movie, a wide variety of characters are introduced. who are all connected one way or another to the house guests who are being blackmailed. Mr. Body, a former cook for Miss Peacock, a motorist who is a war vet with Colonel Mustard, a vet who had an affair with Mrs. White's husband, a police officer who knows about Miss Scarlett's brothel business, and a singing telegram girl who had an affair with her therapist, Professor Plum, are all then killed, so there is no leverage to be used to blackmail them anymore. The author's strategy for writing the review was interesting. He started out with facts and later included a detailed summary of the film. Overall, Mr. Frick was able to evaluate and review the movie in a clear and precise way that left the audience wanting to watch the film and alongside the characters solve the mystery of who is the murderer, with what weapon, and in what room.
Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream if only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Now every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to.